Hello everybody and welcome to another update here from Quantum Plant Healing, or QPH. My name is Davyd Farrell. I'm a quantum plant alchemist and co-founder of Quantum Plant Healing along with my partner Mayan dreamweaver Bella Alvaran. Today I want to share a little bit of information about a wonderful tree that has stepped forwards at this time to assist us in the great transition that is now very much underway. Many of you have expressed that you've been experiencing all kinds of new physical, spiritual, emotional sensations, sometimes good, sometimes a little more challenging, but that is the nature of the time that we are in. This is a powerful moment for all of humanity, and we often say not to spend too much time looking at the news, but if you do happen to cast a glance, as I do, across a variety of media platforms just to take a pulse on what's going on, it's very clear that we have come to a culmination or a pivot or tipping point even. And whilst much of the collective still has a lot of awakening to do, I would imagine that many of you watching this video have probably seen one of me or Bella's videos before and know something about the work that we do. So the tree that has stepped forwards at this time is a tree that we all know and love, I think, no matter where we are in the world, and that tree is the oak tree. So we weren't expecting actually to be doing another plant immersion in February. We were thinking more likely it was going to be around the equinox, but as is so often the case with the plants, they step forwards when they perceive that we need their assistance. I've been blessed enough to work with the oak tree for many years now, and have run a number of retreats and immersions before, and have even dieted with the oak tree previously, so I already have a strong connection to this tree, and I know the qualities that it can offer us at this time, as indeed did our ancestors, the Druids, are very much connected to the oak and the solar energy that the oak tree brings us, or can be a conduit for. The Druids were indeed a solar order, and they referred to the oak tree as the tree of the three doors. This is because its roots go deep into the ground and can connect us to the lower world. The trunk holds us in this middle world where we operate as incarnated human beings, and its branches act like an antennae and can reach up into the stars to connect us with our own cosmic ancestors and cosmic DNA. So this tree was very much revered by the Druids, and indeed many other cultures too. And there are a number of reasons for this, and I don't want to give too many spoiler alerts right now, but I can share with you a couple of the major characteristics of the oak. The oak is really about strength and about sovereignty. And that's really interesting, because one of the pieces that is coming up for many of us right now is what is it like to be truly sovereign and to experience freedom. And when we look at an oak tree in the wild, if it's by itself, it holds a very clear delineated space. Its branches and its roots match each other, and it creates this very clear sort of toroidal shape energy, which is often depicted in the image of the world tree. Of course, the oak is one of the world trees. And the oak really teaches us about the true nature of kingship. And in the old days, as is described, I think, quite well in the play by Shakespeare of Macbeth, it's the three Norns, or the three witches of fate, who sit at the well of Erd that is at the bottom of Yggdrasil, or the Tree of Life in the Norse traditions. And those beings assist us in many different ways, but really the oak tree shows us what it's like to hold space, and the true essence of kingship is decided by those three witches, the three Norns, not because the king has the most amount of money in the bank, or the most amount of soldiers or armies. The king is chosen on his ethical principles, and also the fact that he doesn't need to take anything from the position of kingship, because he is already enough. He assumes the role of kingship because he is enough, and he doesn't need to take anything from his people. Not only is he enough for himself, but if you look closely into the branches of an oak tree, you will often see other trees growing out of the branches of an oak tree, but you will also see many hundreds, if not thousands, or even tens of thousands of other beings living in the branches, or even around the oak tree. And this is what it means to be really in the energy of kingship, is to understand that you are enough, and you are so much enough that you can hold others in your space. But before you think about holding others in your space, it's important that you have got your space sorted and down. The oak also teaches us, for those of you who are Tolkien fans like myself, to be like the Ent. Why the Ent? well. For those of you that remember the second movie, when they burst the dams around Sauron's tower and the water rushes down, the Ents with the hobbits in their branches brace themselves for the onrushing water. Now, we could take that literally, metaphorically. There are many astute astrologers and channels out there who believe that there is a big watery piece coming to the planet, maybe even in 2024. But I would also like to suggest that this is perhaps about the emotional tsunami that is likely to wash over all of humanity at some point in 2024. There are some simple truths about the ascension process that perhaps are still not in many people's awareness. And to become truly multidimensional, we need to experience what it's like to be multidimensional. Some of us are able to work with the entheogen medicines like the sacred mushroom or mother ayahuasca or Huachumita, the San Pedro cactus, or even Peyotito or Santa Maria cannabis. And those medicines really enable us to access these other realms and to experience what it's like to be consciously aware in our astral body, in our etheric body, and indeed, if we're lucky, maybe even more refined levels of consciousness in 6, 7, 8 dimensions. However, the average person really has not had this experience, but is going to somehow need to experience this in order to be able to ascend to the higher frequencies of Mother Earth or Gaia, is now wishing to reach to herself, which is why the oak has stepped in at this time, we feel, in order to give us that rooting, that grounding, that strength to be able to withstand what may wash over us or even people around us. So that's a little bit about the oak. The immersion that we are going to run with the oak will be starting on February the 28th. We'll be working, as we often do, with a 13-day Mayan wave spell. And the wave spell that begins on February the 28th is another very powerful one. It's the blue magnetic monkey, which is working with the energy of magic. And to understand magic will be part of what we're sharing in this immersion, and understanding that it's our higher dimensional imagination in the 5D or even above that can work with our ideas and our dreams, but then we down in the 3D need to be able to give it some fire energy to make it manifest. Now, we've just recently gone through Imulk, and I've recently done a bunch of videos that you can see here on YouTube or on our quantumplanet.world YouTube channel, or even on the quantumplanet.world website, where I was talking to Druid and author Ellen Everett Hopman about Imulk. I also did a Web of Weird podcast with my brother and herbalist Pete Jackson Main, and I also got to do a wonderful video with the founder of the Dwarf Planet University, Alan Clay, which we entitled Imulk and the Underworld, looking at the influences of Imulk, which is spring in the Celtic world, with our good old friend Hades or Pluto, who has been very much in the mix recently as he entered into Aquarius, and we had that powerful Kazemi on the same day. So there are some really powerful energies around this immersion. Also on February the 28th, for those of you who are aware of the astrology, we have a Mercury and Saturn Kazemi, all conjunct with the Sun. So Saturn, of course, is very much about structure, and Saturn is in Pisces at the moment, so he's teaching us how to hold a structure in water. And so the oak is also very linked to Saturn for these same reasons. It carries that very sort of almost grandfatherly energy, we could say, of Lord and Protector. But also he wants to show us, as Saturn does, how to hold ourselves when maybe all around are losing their heads and getting maybe somewhat overwhelmed or even washed away with the emotional tidal wave that is likely to affect many people in 2024. So very, very powerful astrology. We also have tomorrow on Friday the 8th of February, we have a new moon in Aquarius. So this is all very much about setting intentions in our higher mind space. Aquarius to me really represents the non-dualistic fifth dimensional space that we always reside in, that acts really as a lot of our intuition, but it's also the realm of the goddess, and it's the realm of creativity. So there's a lot of powerful energies around this immersion. I also want to share with you that this immersion will be taking place in the center of the mystical column in the Mayan time scale, which is one of the most powerful and potent points of the Mayan calendar, the lunar calendar. And what we can say is that this opportunity to work with the oak will be held in a very, very safe container, as always, energetically very strong, and to be able to navigate through this mystical central column while in a shared ceremonial, healing, manifestation, magic space with a tree like the oak, and indeed many other brothers and sisters, will give us the opportunity to really navigate some of the upcoming energies, but also to get ourselves grounded and centered and hopefully energetically sovereign for whatever is about to come. Now, I can also share that from my own medicine journeys over the last year or so, that everything is fine. We are eternal beings, and down here in duality, we are playing out a storyline and also observing other storylines being played out for our benefit, ultimately. However, as many people have also said, it may not look like that at various points in 2024, which is where we need that strength and that trust and that level of sovereignty, and that also that understanding that I am enough. So these are all many of the energies and qualities that are incoming anyway, regardless of whether you decide to join us on the oak immersion. But I wanted to share that with you. In conjunction with launching the oak immersion, we have also just produced our first, we're very excited about this and very proud, we've just produced our first quantum plant healing essence, which is also really interesting because Aquarius rules essences, because essences are basically quantum technology. They are the energy or intelligence of a tree or a plant or even a mushroom or moss or lichen or any kind of plant really, imbued into water. Water is the container through which information can be stored, with obviously the permission in the appropriate ways from the tree or plant you're working with. And then we add a bit of alcohol to that water to fix the water so it doesn't go bad. But contained within that water is, if we're very lucky and the tree is given itself fully, we will have all of the information that the oak has to be able to share with us. So this is quantum technology, and we're super excited to be able to announce that oak essence made with a Texas live oak in Texas itself at the end of last year is now available for you to access as well if you live in North America. So please do check out the new shop aspect on quantumplанthealing.com, and you can order yourself an essence there. And as we enter into the format of the oak immersion, I just want to share with you, for those of you who are not familiar with how these work, we basically hold a space for 13 days. We have 3 live calls, one in the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end. And in between, there are a series of pre-recorded transmissions and meditations. My partner Bella always does a daily glyph meditation so that people have the energy of the day according to the Mayan wave spell. And then we have a series of talks, both by myself and Bella, relating to the tree or plant in conjunction with other teachers. I can confirm that we have some really, really great teachers taking part again in this immersion, and we'll be looking at the energy of the oak from multiple different correspondences that include herbalism, astrology, cosmology, Mayan time and magic, healing, but also the very strong connections that the oak tree has to the Druid tradition. So we're going to be having a wonderful talk again from the Druid and author Ellen Everett-Hopman about the energies of the oak, and I have a number of really great astrologers that are also going to be taking part. And of course, there are some of our familiar faces like my good friend and brother Pete Jackson Main, one of the best herbalists I've ever known, and is very quantum in his understanding about how to work with the herbal medicinal aspects of the plant, but from a much higher perspective. So there is a lot of information. These 13 days are always ram-packed full of lots of juicy intel to take away, but also during those 13 days, what we tell people to do beforehand is to purchase, or even forage is better, or even grow yourself better again, the medicine, but that's not always possible, as sometimes with some trees and plants it's a little more tricky according to where you are or what the season is. So with the oak, we definitely recommend that either you make your own oak essence, or of course you can buy the one from us, or you can get it from another source. There are other oak medicines that we're going to be talking about, including things like oak salts. You know, you can get oak infused Epsom salts, which are a great way, of course, of cleansing your field. And that's something else we're going to be talking about throughout this immersion, and indeed in the run-up to the immersion, which is how to keep your energy field clean. It's important that we keep our terrain clean so that when we're making our higher dimensional prayers and intentions, that we're not doing that from a contaminated, distorted, or even manipulated space. We have been running an early bird offer, which now is down to its last 2 tickets with roughly about 33% off the original asking price, but we know that many of you have not heard about this immersion yet and probably would like to have availed yourself of that special offer. So we're going to be introducing a special tier 2, slightly discounted offer as well. Not as much as the first early bird, but still worth taking up. So please do check out the live event section. All of these links will be in the show notes underneath. Please do check out that in order to grab yourself one of those special early bird tickets, which are priced at $121, which includes everything for the immersion. Many of you have often asked in the past, what happens if I can't make every live call, or what happens if I can't get the videos. Well, all of the live calls are recorded. You can access them at any time once they've been uploaded into the group. And indeed, you can access this group in perpetuity long after the immersion has finished. And as we have been doing on QPH recently, we've been looping back to some of the immersions we did a year and a half ago, like with Dandelion, and refreshing those groups with live calls. And when we originally did the Dandelion immersion live back in the summer of 2022, I think it was 22, it seems a long time ago now, I think we only had maybe 20 or 30 people who took part in that, but now we have over 300 who've actually gone into the immersion and done it in their own time and worked their way through the material, and have come out and said, wow, that was super powerful. So we always say that the live immersions are a little more fun because we're in a container together, there's lots of sharing. But you can always jump into the material at any point. So I just wanted to reiterate that too. So I think that's really it from my side today. Just wanted to put this little video together, bring the oak tree into your awareness. Whether you decide to join us or not for the immersion, that's up to you. But I would still recommend that the oak is a friend that we all need. This is a tree with profound wisdom, one of the most storied plant or tree beings really in connection with humans. It's known as for a very, very long time. It's been a huge part of our history. It's helped build our boats, even our houses, occasionally even weapons, So this is a tree that knows intimately a lot about humans, but has this kind of grandfatherly, or some would say grandmotherly energy too, that it wishes to kind of wrap its big arms around us and say, it's all right, son, it's going to be okay. So there are many wonderful qualities to the oak, and, I'm sure many of us really have spent a good number of hours sat under an oak tree meditating at some point in our lives. I know that I certainly have, and I always feel the benefit of spending time meditating underneath any tree, actually, but especially the oak tree, gives me that sense of wholeness and completeness, and really that I am enough. So that's it from me. Look forward to seeing you again very soon. Please do check out the free Quantum Plant Healing Tribal membership. It's free to sign up to, just takes 2 minutes. And once you sign up to that, you can access the group where there's a lot of sharing, but we also do monthly live calls where we tackle many different issues that are facing our tribe, many challenges that have come up, maybe some solutions and protocols. And actually, increasingly, the conversations seem to go in all kinds of far out directions. And it's really, really beautiful to have a space where we can talk freely about so many things that quite often we can't talk about on some of the social media platforms. So I'm sat here a little bit in the sun, so apologies if it looks like I'm squinting. It is a beautiful day here and just wanting to make the most of that, so filming this outside. Definitely recommend you do the same. If the weather is good, get outside, get into nature, ground yourself, take your shoes off, and just remember to keep grounding yourself, because the likelihood of getting ungrounded or even overwhelmed in the coming days, weeks and months, I think for most of us, if not all of us, is quite high. So remember that you've got these allies, you've got these support, you've got these tools and medicines to help you, and hopefully we'll see you over at Quantum Plant Healing very, very soon. Ciao for now.